This is Mrs. A of Math A Matic. If you are new here, I just want you to know that I have series of videos for grade 8, grade 9, and grade 7 math. Today's video is about finding the characteristics of quadratic function without graphing. We're going to determine the domain and range, the vertex, the opening of the parabola or the minimum and the maximum value, axis of symmetry, and X-intercept and Y-intercept. Now, pag-aralan muna natin yung graph na to. Para later, hindi na natin kailangan mag-graph pa kung para makuha natin yung mga characteristic na yon or mga features ng quadratic function. So, ayan ang given equation natin. F of x is equal to x squared plus 2, wherein ang a natin dito ay positive, kaya yung graph natin, it opens upward. So, tandaan niyo yan, pag ang a natin ay positive, ang opening ng graph natin ng parabola opens upward. Okay, now, look at the vertex here. The vertex is at 0, 2. 0, that's the value of h or x, and 2, that's the value of k or y. And that k is from here. The constant. Wala siyang kasamang variable. So it means ang movement nito, it's either going up or going down. Pag negative 2, ibig sabihin, nandito siya, bumaba siya, minus 2. Okay, now, so aside from the vertex here, which is x and y, or h and k, we have also the axis of symmetry here, which is the vertical line that split the graph into mirror image. So magkapareho yung nasa left at saka yung nasa right. Ito yung naghahati. Yung naghahati na yan, ang tawag dyan ay axis of symmetry. Na kung saan yung axis of symmetry na yon ay value ng x. At yung value ng x na yon ay ito pa rin. X. Ibig sabihin ng x, 0, h, and axis of symmetry. Okay? Now, tingnan naman natin ngayon yung graph natin. Yung graph natin, papunta siya sa taas or continuous. Napansin nyo, it becomes wider and wider. Pag tuloy-tuloy yan, ang opening yan dito, tingnan nyo yung shape. Yan. So, ibig sabihin yan, pag tuloy-tuloy, makukover niya yung positive values of x and negative values of x. Ito yung mga x na to, yung values of x na yan, yan ang tinatawag na domain ng quadratic equation, or sorry, function, quadratic function. Okay, so now, the vertex form of quadratic function is y is equal to a quantity x or times quantity x minus h squared plus k. So ngayon, ang h na yan, yun yung vertex na value ng x at yung k naman, yun yung y or yung dito makukuha. Okay? So now, the domain of quadratic functions is real numbers. Actually, all quadratic functions, their domain is always real numbers. Now, when we say domain, it's all about the values of x. Remember, when we construct table of values, we just simply assign any values of x, which means we can choose any from 0 to positive infinity or from 0 to negative infinity. That's why it's all real numbers. Now, how are we going to write the domain? Paano natin isusulat ang domain? Ang domain ngayon, simple lang all real numbers. Or, in interval notation, ilalagay lang natin, open parenthesis, negative infinity, comma, close parenthesis here, that is positive infinity. It means tuloy-tuloy yan. Okay, so aside from all real numbers, pwede mo siyang isulat ng pagganito. Okay, yun yung domain. Now, tingnan naman natin yung range. Ang range naman ay yung values ng y. Okay, tingnan natin. Di ba mula sa 2, ito yung pinaka-lowest point or minimum point ng y natin, 2. And the rest, paakyat na siya sa taas. As the graph continues going up, yung y natin ay pataas din ng pataas. Okay? So, ibig sabihin, ito yung pinaka-limit natin. Okay? So, how are we going to do that? That is K. So, yun lang titingnan mo ngayon yung value ng K. So, yun din ang value ng Y mo. Okay, so now, the domain, or I mean the range, the vertex or the turning point, and the opening of the parabola determines the range. So, titingnan mo daw yung vertex, titingnan mo yung opening ng parabola, kung siya ay papunta sa taas, or opens upward, or opens downward. So, here, in this graph, the values of y are greater than or equal to 2, which is the value of k. Okay? Which means that the range are all real numbers greater than or equal to 2. Ganun na natin kadali i-describe yan. Tingnan mo lang kung ano yung value ng k. Then, if it opens upward, then it means that greater than or equal to the value of k, which is 2. And you can write that also as y is greater than or equal to 2. Or in interval notation, you can write as bracket here. Then, ibig sabihin ng bracket, kasama yung 2. And then, comma, going to positive infinity. Then, open parenthesis here. Or close parenthesis. Sorry. Okay, so that's how you're going to determine the domain and range. Now, there are other information. So now we're going to give the characteristics of quadratic function without graphing. So I have here, may table ako dito. We are going to complete this. Yung mga characteristic nila, kung maximum or minimum value ba, vertex, axis of symmetry, domain, range, X-intercepts, Y-intercept. Okay, so isahin natin yan. So, ang given natin ngayon ay f of x is equal to the quantity x minus 3 squared minus 4. This is in vertex form. We know that a here is positive. It means that the graph opens upward. If this is negative, the graph opens downward. And if it opens upward, pag ang graph natin ay nag-open upward, ibig sabihin nun, ang vertex natin is the lowest point or minimum point, which means that this is minimum value. Vertex is at the minimum value. Now, what is the vertex now? Simply, this is the h and k. So that is 3, negative 4. This is minus in the vertex form, which means that h is positive. If this is plus, it means that h is negative. And this is the value of k, negative 4. Now, the axis of symmetry, we know that x is equal to h. Therefore, x is equal to 3. Diyan dumaan yung vertical line na nagdi-divide sa graph natin into 2 na magkapareho. The domain is easy. We know that all quadratic function, their domain is all real numbers. And the range, we just need to check the value of k, and that is negative 4. And we know that it's going up because the graph opens upward, which means that y is equal to, or y is greater than or equal to negative 4. And the x-intercept, to solve for x-intercept, f of x is equal to 0. Why f of x is equal to 0? Because f of x is the same as y. So we can write this as y is equal to the quantity x minus 3 squared minus 4. So simply, we just papalitan lang natin yung f of x ng 0 is equal to the quantity x minus 3 squared minus 4. And then, we need to isolate x. In doing that, kailangan mag-add tayo ng positive 4 here, positive 4 here. So this is now equal to 0. And that's why we have here 4 is equal to the quantity x minus 3 squared. Okay, look at this one. Familiar ba ito kung paano natin i-manipulate yan? Paano natin ma-solve yung x? Kaya nyo bang gawin? Pwede nyo i-pause yung video kung kaya nyo i-solve yung x. Now, to solve for x here, simply, since square ito, extract lang natin yung square root ng both sides of the equation. Which means, this radical sign or this square, we can cancel that one. Matatanggal na yan. Yung square dito dahil may radical sign dyan. Understood dyan na may 2 siya dito na index. Okay, then, square root of 4, you know that it's always positive and negative. So, therefore, that is positive and negative 2 is equal to x minus 3. So, we can now equate x minus 3 to positive 2 and negative 2. So, unahin muna natin yung positive 2. So, 2 is equal to x minus 3. And then, we need to solve for x. It means, kailangan natin mag-add ng positive 3 on both sides of the equation. And this becomes 0. And then, x is equal to 5. So, ito ngayon ang isa sa mga y-intercept natin. That is 5, 0. Sorry. Okay, now, the other one is, equate natin sa negative 2. Ayan. Pinaghiwalay ko lang yan ha. Yung isa positive, yung isa negative. So, ito na ngayon ang negative. So, anong gagawin natin? To solve for x again, we need to add positive 3 on both sides of the equation. Okay, this is again 0. So, x now is equal to 1. It means that the other x-intercept is at 1, 0. Okay, so it's here. 5, 0 and 1, 0. Okay, what about the y-intercept? The y-intercept, we let x is equal to 0. So in the given quadratic function, f of x is equal to the quantity x minus 3 squared minus 4. Simply, we just replace x with 0. So we have f of 0. F of 0 is equal to the quantity 0 minus 3 the quantity squared minus 4. So this is now negative 3 squared, and that is equal to 9 minus 4, that is 5. So f of 0 is equal to 5, and this is now the y-intercept. So we have now 0 is x, and 5 is y. So the y-intercept is here 0, 5. Okay, so that's how you're going to find the characteristics or the features of quadratic function without graphing. Now, in case the given dito ay naka-standard form, ganun pwede nyo pa rin makuha. May formula kung paano kunin yung h and k without graphing. May video ako about dyan. Pwede nyo panoorin. Thank you for watching, and please don't forget to subscribe to my channel and share my videos. Bye-bye. See you on the next one.